All right, good people. We need to talk 23 is back, and I have another guest as a part of my I'm Coming Home series, Mr. Michael Jackson, founder, CEO of Grind Stack Repeat.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. How you doing this afternoon?
Everything is good, man. Life is good. We're just, taking it one day at a time, taking care of the family, and trying to spread some knowledge. That's all.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's what we're here for. All right, so to get started, just like I ask all of my other guests, for the people that don't know you, who is Michael Jackson?
Uh, I'm a guy that was capable, well, not even capable, but was able to change my life around. Um, 42 years old, I come from an era that was crack cocaine, heroin, marijuana, uh, where the true allure of being a drug dealer was present. It,
Mhm.
a lot of people can't bounce back from making the mistake of trying that.
Mhm.
So I was capable. I did go to prison. I did learn a lesson the hard way, and I was capable of bouncing back and making something good of my life. Currently, I'm the general supervisor of public works in Paterson, New Jersey. Um, Most people say once you get a felony, you can't find a job. You can't, make earnings and a living for your family, but that's false. It's all a mind thing to me. If you believe that, then you won't be able to do it. So I've never believed that, and I let my work speak for itself. I'm also a person that truly believes in multiple streams of income. So that's where grind stack repeat comes from. Even though I don't want to be a drug dealer anymore, I still have some of those thoughts in my mind that really apply to everything in life.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, you need to work, you need to hustle, you need to grind, but you need to save. A lot of people put a lot into hustling and grinding, and they have the money spent before it comes in.
Yeah.
So my whole thing was to make sure that people remember to save some of this money, save and spend what's left over from saving.
Yeah.
Don't save what's left over from spending.
Heck
So
yeah.
I'm trying to make sure that people understand that and keep going with it. And grind stack repeat is pretty much universal across the world. Everybody's out here hustling. Everybody's trying to make a living. Everybody's trying to feed their family, and we all want to have some type of generational wealth to leave behind. So the stacking is very, very important.
Very true. Very true. So if you don't mind, so how much time did you end up doing when you got locked up?
I ended up doing a little over 2 years, and that was luckily. I was able to get a plea deal down to that. For a whole year, I was home on bail, and they never would lower it from 7 years. It
Yeah.
was my first time being arrested, and they wouldn't come off of it. But finally, we were able to make a deal, and I was able to go do that 2 years and come home.
Okay. So what? So did you have a good lawyer or did you have a public defender?
I had a good lawyer. Most people don't realize how important that is these days. Uh, they got to understand that the law game is just like any other game. These guys are all friends.
Mhm.
So when you get a good one, they might not be that great with their mouth, but that friendships that they have go a long way. So I was able to get a lawyer that has some great friendships, and he was able to make something work for me.
All right. So what is? And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about this part, but I just want
Yeah.
to, get people to understand and see how they
Mhm.
can learn from this and grow from this. But
Yes.
so the 2 years that you were locked up was what was one of the things, or what's the biggest thing that you think you learned during that time?
I learned how to value my freedom. I want people to understand that the things that you see in movies and on TV shows about prison is light compared to how prison truly is.
Mhm.
Uh, while in prison, I learned that there was a prison inside of prison, which is administrative segregation.
Mhm.
Most people know call it solitary, but in New Jersey they don't do that too often. You usually have a roommate or something, but you are separated from everybody.
Yeah.
When you're in a situation like that, when it's time to take a shower, when they open that door, you got to come out naked and you got to walk to the shower naked. Like it's like the ultimate humiliation for a person, and that alone stood out to me as like this is not something I want to do for a long period of time or ever again. I don't want somebody to tell me when to take a shower, when to eat. I don't want anybody knocking on my door at 3 in the morning to count me as a person. So, it's some people get used to it, unfortunately. We got to break that cycle that people really think like jail is somebody taking care of them. They don't have to feed themselves. They don't have to, shelter for themselves, and people get used to, oh, I'm going to jail, so what? But nah, there's other things that you could be doing with your life, and you can't get that time back. So that's what I learned a lot. Like I don't want anybody to take these little freedoms that we take for granted away from me. I want to shower when I want to shower.
Okay, so once you got out, did you have a game plan, or what was your first move, or what did you want to do when you first got out?
Fortunately for me, when I got out, I had a friend who actually was doing a nonprofit, and I learned about it while I was in jail. What he was doing was he was teaching people as they come home how to interview for jobs.
Okay.
He'd teach you how to interview for a job, and he would supply you with your suit and tie for you to be professional when you went. Um, it's very important. A lot of people don't see, don't understand that plays a major role for your appearance when you come in. You could have done a whole bunch of stuff, but the way you present yourself when somebody first meets you means a lot. So I really like that. So I went to go work for him for free because it was a nonprofit, and I did that for like 3 or 4 months before my parole officer said, "Now you got to make money." Like I'm not going to ask you how you survive, but you got to make money where I can see it. So after that experience, I felt like, you know what, I should be doing these interviews. I should be going doing interviews myself. Like, I understand everything that's going on and how to move. So let me go ahead and get a job and just work the job to the best of my ability.
Okay, so what was your first job?
Public works is my first job out of prison.
Wow.
My first paying job. I started in recycling. I was a laborer on the back of the truck, and I hadn't done manual labor my entire life. So it's like, but that's what breaks a lot of people. But I was kind of focused on staying here. And my first question when I first started working here was, well, this isn't a lot of money. People think public works makes a lot of money, but they don't. So it was like, how do you make money here? And there was a Caucasian gentleman here, may you rest in peace, Eddie. Eddie, he told me, you want to make money here, you got to get a CDL license.
Okay.
So I'm fresh out of prison. I don't have a license at all because I had been gone. And my first step was to get my regular driver's license, and then I pursued my CDL. And that was my whole thing. How do I make money? How do I make moves here? And I just followed the game plan of people that had already been here prior to me. So.
All right. So then, as you started to move up, was it, and I think I know the answer, but just to give the people the information, was it a quick rise to the top, or was it, steady grinding to get to where you are now?
It was a steady grind. No, there's no instant gratification when it comes to jobs these days. I was on the back of I was only on the back of the truck for 6 months.
Okay.
That's all it took for me to get a CDL. I was focused. When it came to money, I need money. I'm going to do what it takes to get it. So studying that book and taking that test was a piece of cake when it came to thinking about money. So I did that. Then I became a sweeper operator. I did that for about, I want to say 8 years.
Okay.
So I really liked that job because I was by myself, slow moving, listen to music, relax. It was just an easy day. But I wasn't satisfied with the money there either.
Okay.
I also became the union president throughout that 8 years because there were things going on that I didn't like.
Okay.
And by becoming a union president, people got to see how I speak. They say, "Oh, you're articulate. You know how to speak. You know how to make people listen to what you're saying," and that helped further me in my career because public works is customer service. People rarely think about it like that. Like, all right, we perform a service, but the way that I communicate with the public is a big part of how my job gets done. So if you don't understand how things get done or when they'll get done, you'll continuously be mad. Like we just seen this with this 28 inches of snow we just got. So people were up in arms. You should just take the snow off my street. But you got to explain to them, there's 158 miles in this city. If I take 24 inches of all 158 miles, where exactly am I going to put it? So and not only that, but it's going to take me forever.
Yeah.
These guys can't do these things for 72 hours straight and not rest. So the communication is big. So recently, I guess the mayor likes the way I explain things too. So recently I've been in a lot of his lives, been having the conversations with people on Facebook. But that being able to speak in public and speak to people is what helped me move forward.
Okay.
So it's almost 5 years. 5 years ago, I still felt like I wasn't making enough money here.
Okay.
So got some people that we grew up with, TJ Best, Kenneth Simpson. They work in the county. And at first it was a joke I had put on Facebook, I'm thinking about taking my talents to the county, and I tagged both of them, So, people thought it was a joke, but I was dead serious. But also people know that the county doesn't hire felons.
Yeah.
So a lot of people thought that, it's wishful thinking. But if people see how dedicated you are to what you do, anything is possible, So I left the city and I went to go work for the county, even with the felony on my record. And people couldn't believe it. They thought, like, who do you know? I know people, but also my work speaks for itself. I'm here, I'm dedicated, I learn whatever you want me to learn, and I go. So the city, once I left, decided that it wasn't a good idea to let me leave. So they countered the offer from the county, and I ended up coming back with a higher title, which was supervisor. I've been a supervisor now for 4 years. I started off as a regular supervisor of public works. Last year in February, I became general supervisor, which is the supervisor of supervisors. So I'm still moving. I still got a couple more notches on the ladder I'm trying to go, but it's just to say that if you put that work forward and people see you putting that work forward, you can make moves no matter what you did in the past or who you used to be. And I preach that constantly to these young guys, like, don't even become what I was. Just start moving how I move now, and you won't have to worry about it. But for the guys that are my age that have gone through the same thing, I tell them the same thing. You could do this. Like it's not that hard. All you gotta do is come to work every day, and that says a lot about you. Period. I tell people all the time. Right now, I think I got maybe 215 sick days. Haven't taken a sick day since 2017. And that's that. When a person thinks about who's reliable, that's the first thing they think about is who comes to work. Oh man, this guy's never not here, And then when promotions come around, they think about that too. I know I can rely on you. You'll be here. Let me help you go forward. And people got to think about that. These guys be like, oh man, it's Saturday. I ain't trying to work. You're trying to work every day. it's millions of people that ain't got nowhere to go to work. You can't do that. So that enabled me to move up too. And I try not to be political, but it's very hard in this job because everything is tied to politics, especially in public works.
Okay.
But that's how I did it. I just worked, man.
And I think that's great, and that's great for the people, the people to hear. And like I said, with this I'm Coming Home series, I swear it's all about showing our people in Patterson, how show them some other stuff. And I know that at some point somebody's gonna get sick of me saying this, but I'm trying to show them, look, it's more than sports in Patterson. It's more than rappers coming out of Patterson. And it's not to knock anybody rapping or anybody that plays sports. You do what you do. God gave you your gift. Use your gift to get you where you need to go. But I want them to understand that, like you said, just because you went to jail, just because you have a felony and things of that nature, don't let that hold you back. Don't let anybody beat you down and tell you you can't do this because you have that. And it's like my last guest I had on, True Kepra, I had him on, and and his story is similar, but it's all about what you want to do with the time that you have. Unfortunately, if you're locked up, it's about what you do with that time, and then once you get out, also what you do with that time.
Yeah.
So then my next thing is to, did you go to college at all, or was college in your?
Um, I had a couple credits, not many. I started school and then it just felt like it wasn't for me.
Mhm.
Um, 2 years ago, I did go back to school.
Okay.
The city paid for me to. That's another thing I want people to really look into when they have good jobs. Most jobs will pay for you to further your education if it benefits them.
Mhm.
So don't turn down those opportunities just because it benefits them as well, because it will benefit you. So I went to Rutgers for public works manager. So there's a course that you have to take in New Jersey in order to get a license to be a director.
No.
So I kept asking, think I could go to school? Think I could go to school? I want to learn. Can I go to school? And finally, we had a business administrator, Vaughn McCoy, and he said, you know what, go to school. Tell your director, set it up, go to school. So I did. I went to school and I graduated, and now I'm certified to be a director. There's 500 plus municipalities in New Jersey. They all require a director with a license.
Okay.
So that's the way I looked at it. I said, you know what? I love Patterson. This is my hometown. I do anything I can to stay here and work here, but I also have 5 children. And
Yeah.
if Patterson stops making it that I can feed these children, then I need to have something to fall back on. So it benefits them now,
Yeah.
but it might benefit me more later if I need to leave here. So that was my thinking on it. If they're gonna pay for it and they're gonna allow you to get these certifications and everything else, go do it. Do it. People don't want to take that time out. They want to go out and party, but they don't want to, you know, get this free education. Like you can't beat free education.
No,
You know,
not at all. I try to tell people that because I have. It's funny that you said that. I have so many damn certifications. It's ridiculous. But I mean, to the point to where I went on a job interview and the guy was looking at it and he was like, "You ever been to Iraq?" And I was like, "Nah." He said, "Shit." He was like, "You got the same certifications I have," and I was just like, "The job paid for it, so I took it." I mean, I have
yeah,
canine and explosive dog handling training. I mean, I got so many certificates, and it's just like I may not have been interested in it, but because they offered it,
he took it.
take
Yeah.
advantage of it. Shit, I'm like, who knows? And also I could also take that and flip that into college credits at some point too.
Mm-hmm.
So I try and tell people, like you said, look into the programs, take advantage of everything that the city, county, state has to offer.
Yep.
Make it work to your benefit. So then the next thing, when did the grind stack repeat line? When did you come up with that? And what was in the beginning? What was the thought process behind it?
Um, the beginning. This is 2015. I think Bust, Robbie Jackson.
Yeah.
So me and Bust, we've been doing clothes since 1998.
Hmm.
It's always been his passion,
Hmm.
but he always let me ride his coattails and taught me everything he was doing, and we always worked together. But I had mentioned to him that it would be a good idea for us to do screen printing.
Hmm.
So we had bought all the equipment, we had did everything, we had it all in the storage unit. We were practicing. I said, something, I should make my own line, So as we're practicing and learning, we could do my stuff and we'll see how it comes out. So grind stack repeat was just something that just came to mind. I said, let's make some grind stack repeat shirts. That's something everybody can relate to. And it just blossomed from there. We over the years I've developed it from what it was. It used to be like a recycling symbol.
Hmm.
Um, but I didn't want to have any trademark infringements or anything. If it grew to where I wanted it to grow, I needed to have something that would be mine and mine only.
Hmm.
So just started working on it. Me and Robbie had 2 stores. Both of them on Vreeland Ave. We were on Vreeland Ave, left Vreeland Ave, then came back to Vreeland Ave,
Okay.
and right by the barbershop there. So we had a perfect location. You had everybody in and out the barbershop all day, and I was able to put my line in there with every other clothing item that we sold. So it was able to help it get out there. So that was good. So That's how it was born, and that's how it's been coming up. But now the internet is everything. I try to tell people all the time, don't get discouraged if people in your neighborhood or your town don't want to buy your things. There's millions of people across the earth. And if you market yourself the way you need to, then they'll get to see your product. And you have millions of people. If you get 10% of a million to buy a shirt, you're set for life. So you can't concentrate on the 100,000 people that are in Patterson, because people do that all the time. So, oh man, nobody's supporting me. Well, in general, the people closer to you ain't gonna support you.
No.
Nobody, because the mindset for them is, I don't want him to get rich off of my $20.
Mm-hmm.
so, but once it gets to a certain point, they be like, you know what, I need a shirt. Everybody got a shirt. I need a shirt too. Like, yeah, now you need a shirt. Now you want to give me your $20.
Now that 20, 25.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so you gotta not concentrate on your hometown. You expect you get some type of love in your hometown, but you gotta start concentrating on the world, because the bigger you think, the bigger you could become. And people just gotta stop concentrating on, I can't sell a shirt here. Well, the internet, opening a website is very cheap. It didn't used to be, but it is now. Like $30 a month, and like, open a website. Put some ads on Facebook for $10 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Those little things do amazing things for people. They got to understand that to move forward.
Yeah, and it's all about business. And I know at one point I was guilty of that, because I sat back when I first started the podcast, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, shit, I got like 600-700 friends on Facebook, Instagram, all this other shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, my views, they're not looking like I want them to look. Then I sat back one day and I'm going through a couple of episodes, and I look at my stats. I'm like, shit. I'm like, I got views in Russia, I got views in Switzerland, shit like that, and United Kingdom. I'm like, fuck this. I'm like, I could do this. I'm like, like you said, stop focusing on your hometown, stop focusing on friends and family and all this other shit. And you'll go a long way. And I was very guilty of that in the beginning. Like, shit, I'm putting out good stuff. How come they're not listening to what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Sometimes it takes somebody else to say it's good for them to actually want to try it, check it out.
But like I said, that's the key, is to not focus on home, or not to focus on those closest to you, is let the outside bring the people closest to you. And it's a shame that it's that way.
Yeah,
it's not just Patterson, it's
everywhere.
It's damn where.
And it's not just I won't. And sometimes it's not even I won't support you. It's I think you should give it to me.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time. So you want me to give you my product? That's kind of, I tell men. This is men. That's like you asking me to buy you a drink in the club. Like,
really?
Like, do you ask another man to buy you a drink in the club? Like, yo, my brother, can you buy me a drink? No, you don't. So why would you approach me and ask me to give you a product that I had to actually pay to make? Like, that's not how it works. I'm an influencer. Everybody's an influencer. But no, it's just like, if you like it, you like it enough where you want me to give it to you to wear, but you don't like it enough to pay for it. Yeah, so
that's the thing. And then when you talk about it, then they're like, "Oh, he acting funny, he changed." And no, it's not about changing. This is about business. This is not nothing personal. Nothing like that. It's all about business. Like you said, I'm spending X amount of dollars to do what I'm doing. Shit. You buy one. You bring a friend, whatever the case is. Like I said, you buy more than one, then maybe we could talk a deal or something. But I can't give you my shit for free.
Yeah.
And because once I give it to you for free, then you're gonna come back. Oh, you did it last time. We not on that.
Yeah.
So
you gotta be very careful.
Yeah. So what in your time doing this, what would you say has been the hardest part of doing the clothing, outside of trying to get those closest to you to buy into what you're doing?
Honestly, it's working with manufacturers. We all get stuck in this way of what's what people are buying at the time. It might be, you know, a certain brand of t-shirt that everybody likes, or sweatsuit. This is what they want to wear. And we get caught up with trying to keep in line with that. And a lot of these manufacturers aren't black, you
Okay.
know, so they feel like the ball's in their court. So you know, they use us to get their products out, but at the same time, when it's time for us to make our own, they don't want to give us that hand. Like, you know, like I know you make sweatsuits because I've been buying them from you for 4 years. Now I want to make my own sweatsuit. I don't want to buy your blank and put my product on it. I want my sweatsuits to come with my product or with my brand already on it, inside and out.
Mhm.
And I'm willing to buy 20,000 pieces.
Mhm.
They think, that's cool, but nah.
Mhm.
You know, because now they feel like they don't want you to outgrow them. So they don't want to do it. And then the other thing is you can do business with overseas people and they'll do it no problem. But that distance is the problem. You never know what's going on, how the quality is coming out. And that's where Bus came in handy a lot because I don't know if you noticed about Bus, but he used to go to China every 3 months.
Yeah, I saw it on Instagram or Facebook, one of the two.
Yeah, so he would go there and he would find these manufacturers and he would create these relationships with them. So without him, a lot of stuff for me wouldn't happen. So I give him a lot of credit. He has his own brands and his own things he's doing. He's never left me behind. He's always said, "Well, I'm going to China. You take care of the store. I'm gonna find this and I'm gonna find that." And he always goes and he always does. So that was the biggest problem though, was that we couldn't connect with these people on certain levels, whether it was Pakistan, Korea, China. They all you got to go there.
Yeah.
So if you could actually see what's going on there, because you want to send somebody $20,000-$30,000 to make a product, you don't want it to come to you after it's done and it all be wrong. You know, so it's like you got to actually have somebody on the ground there. So he was going back and forth, and that made things a lot easier for us. He still can't wait to go back. I told him he's Chinese now. It's over with. And it's home now. He want to go to China, you know, but coronavirus shut that down a lot. So products are still being made. It's just you can't go there. So
So has it been harder for you during coronavirus, or is it just that the shipping and everything is taking longer for you, or
yeah, shipping takes longer. I don't think business really slowed down, which was really weird. You know, people still buying clothes even though they couldn't go anywhere. I'm guilty of that too, so I can't even be mad at it. You know, but it was like, you know, it didn't really slow to a halt, but it was like some weeks would be like nothing, and then the next week would be like, woof. And you'd be like, where's everybody go? He's still quarantined, you know. But it's expected with business, period, because not all products are going to be loved. Not everything is going to take off from the door. I've become very big on accessories. I don't know if you saw lately, but I made a grind stack repeat croc charm.
yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. So people were like, "What made you do that? Like, what made you think that they like somebody's gonna buy a croc charm?" And I told them it's not. It doesn't really have to do with buying it. What it has to do with is if you buy a hoodie and a t-shirt, I'm gonna drop a croc charm in the package with it.
Yeah.
And when you wear it, people are going to see it. Now the brand is being seen in a different way. They go, that's pretty cool. Right now, I've got grind stack repeat pop sockets, so they're a little different than your average pop socket. But people are like, why would you do that? Oh, well, everybody's got a cell phone. If I give it to you for free, you're more than likely going to use it, and then everybody's going to see grind stack repeat. So it's all marketing. So we get in this habit of just shoving product down people's face instead of people organically learning about it.
Yeah.
So I prefer the organics. So I prefer somebody to see it like, what's that? You know, people might see me on the street like, what's your shirt say? Like, oh, I like that. Like, oh, well, there's a website and an Instagram and a Facebook. Join. You know, you might see something else you like. You know, so that I'd rather that. I'd rather not shove my stuff down. I'm not the type of person that sees you in the street and be like, hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
you gotta buy a sweatshirt, my brother. Like, it's just not my way. My way is, you know, you might see, like, oh, I see you got your clothing line. Yeah, you know, you need something, hit the website or hit me. I'll bring it to you, you know. But I'm not the type of person that just keeps shoving it down people's throat. I can't. It turns people off, and you don't get return customers that way.
Yeah.
Because some people will buy something to get you away from them.
I'll take one alone.
I do that all the time. I'll take one, man. You know, but now I don't want to ever see you again
Yeah.
because of the way your pitch was.
Mhm.
So I try to stay away from that, and it works. It works. You know, you let people organically get a feel of the product and they like it and they go for it.
And that's the thing. And I think that, and I don't know if it's just I don't know if it's just a Patterson thing. I'm the same with the podcast. They tell me, why you don't post more? And I told them, I said, I don't want to beat you in the head with it. I'm like, I don't want
Yeah.
to. I understand that there's certain things you have to do. I said, but I don't want to keep beating you in the head. Hey, check out my podcast. Check out my podcast. It's just like
Yeah.
I'm gonna post a clip here, post a clip there, bring on different guests and things. And I said, grow it that way versus, like you said, shoving it down your throat. Then you get
Mhm.
to the point where you're like, if this dude don't shut the hell up, I don't want to hear this shit no more.
Yeah, I push unfollow all the time. I'm like, that's enough.
Yeah, there you
I got it. I see what you're doing. I got it. Let me just unfollow you. I can't look at it no more. You know? So people got to realize that too. It's just that easy nowadays to cut somebody off, unfollow.
Yeah, and that's it.
That's it. You know? So I think that I like what you're doing. I think it's better that way too. That people see it, they know what you're doing, they see it, give them a chance to catch on.
Hmm.
And once they do, once you catch one video that you like, you usually go back to watch them all. I
Yeah.
know I do that all the time. I might catch something on YouTube. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Let me go back and watch the rest of them because I got to see what was happening prior to this. Okay, this all right. So it's good to do it that way, in my opinion. I like it like that.
I think that's the best way, like you said, to do it. Because for me, I had to learn because in the first season of the podcast, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It was just
Learning process.
yeah, you know what I mean. I'll get
Yeah.
recording. I got 2.5 hours shows, and it's just like my wife was like, ain't nobody gonna listen to 2 hours worth of shit. In my head, I'm telling my wife, I'm like, nah, drink champs do it this way. I mean, she's like, you're
Yeah.
not drink champs. And I said, you got
Yeah.
a point. So, so this season I learned, I was like, all right, I got to cut back, cut it down, make the interview shorter and shit. But, because the whole first season is just like, nah, it's good information that people want to hear. She was like, yeah, but they're not going to listen to 2.5 hours of a show, from somebody they really don't know.
Yeah. This is celebrity is different.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I said, you know what?
Yeah.
White wife gave me that tough love, and I appreciate it. But so in the city, have you found yourself in competition with other clothing brands, or have you found them to be in competition with you more than you are with them?
No, I don't really see competition in Patterson. I don't really see competition in clothing, period, because clothing is so broad. Like, uh, I don't never want to look at it that way that I'm competing with somebody. I remember when Havo
Hmm.
was running, and he come to our store, we sit there, we talk, we all had a relationship, crew love. Everybody has their own lane. So
Hmm.
it's like it's not really like, okay, right now Black from 31st got heavy hearted. Like
Hmm.
I love as long as somebody passes doing something that's positive, I'm all for it. It's not competition, it's all love. It's like I I, I would rather wear their clothes
Hmm.
than go buy Gucci. Like
Gotcha.
that's just how I feel. Like it's just like my this is his intellectual property. Like he thought about this. He thought about making this, and he sees this as a way out. I, I see it the same way. Let me wear that. I'd rather wear that. I tell my wife all the time, it's grind, stack, repeat every day. I'm
Hmm.
about to make draws.
Hey,
you know, you know, and she'd be like, "Oh man, you're out of control." But nah, that's what it is. My oldest daughter she will not leave the house unless she got something on grind, stack, repeat.
and that's how it should be. Support start at home. If I see you, if
Mhm.
I had a clothing line, you see him like, the hell you got on the Tommy Hilfiger Gucci shit. Like,
Yeah,
nah, take
yeah,
that off, put this on and go ahead
yeah,
out the door. Is it same
yeah,
quality? You know me, where it benefits us, benefits the
yeah.
whole household.
And I tell people all the time, the one thing about grind, stack, repeat that keeps me proud is that my kids are happy that they have ownership of something.
Hmm.
To hear your kids say, I can't, people at school are asking about our merch, Dad. It's like our merch. That's what they said, our merch. So it's like that sparkle in their eye when they know it's this is mine. Like it's our family business. That resonates with me every day. Like when I come home and I see her and she's sitting at the table doing her homework, she got her sweatshirt on, she got a t-shirt on, or some sweatpants. Like she always has something on Stack and Peter on no matter what. And it's like that means something. That in her mind, she already has ownership of something, and that means something to me. So that's the great.
And I think that's what a lot of people need to understand. It's just like when it doesn't matter if it's clothing, whatever business you're starting, it's not just about you. I know in a moment we think like, I'm starting this business, this and that. No, it's about longevity. I wanted to carry on after I'm gone. It's like what I did. I started a production company, and I do stage plays and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And once the pandemic hit, I couldn't do a play anywhere. So it's just like, all right, what can I do now? So what I started doing is, even when I doing the podcast, if you look at any credits or anything, when I put the credits on the show, I have all three of my sons as executive producers on the plays, same thing. And I'll tell my sons, I'm like, look, if anything ever happened to me, y'all get a check in the mail 10, 15, 20 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
If I got it all productions on it, I was like, just know, I was like, that's what it's for. You get an executive producer credit on the plays. Everything I do, I make sure I include all three of them on it. My 9-year-old son, you'll look at it and go, but I didn't do anything.
You didn't have to yet.
You don't have to do nothing yet. I said, but when that time comes, just know this is here for all three of y'all. I said, so just be ready for it. So just know that, people, when you hear and see this, it's like Mike said, when y'all doing all of this stuff, include your kids in it. Make them a part of it. You don't have to tell them you're making them a part of it. Just put them on the board somewhere. Give them $1 or $2, and they're part of the team.
That's another thing. We have to start teaching our kids about business credit.
Mm-hmm.
Personal credit is very important, but there's so much you can do with business credit that doesn't affect your bottom line personally ever. People need to learn about that. They need to look into it, because at the end of the day, you start an LLC, get you a DUNS number, and start getting loans for your business, for capital to help you do what you're trying to do. You get vehicles for your business. You get everything you need, and it has nothing to do with you personally. So these are things that we weren't taught. We see everybody else doing it. We like, how well, if he ain't have nothing, then how did he start this business? So we got to start talking to our people about that too. And I do that a lot too. Like, oh, I see you got, you got your clothing line. You got an LLC for it yet? Did you trademark it?
Mm-hmm.
And people sometimes think I'm trying to be funny. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to help you keep what's yours, because at the end of the day, you out here building it to a certain level, and then you'll wake up tomorrow and somebody else will own the trademark.
Yeah.
And then what? So people don't understand that. You got to take the steps in order to do what you're trying to do. It might cost you a couple $100, but in the long run, it's going to make sure that you get to keep your millions.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have that conversation all the time. People looking at me like, you trying to slow me down.
I think everybody's just so impatient about it, because I did the trademark paperwork, and I'm like, this should be pretty quick. I'm coming up on 7-8 months now. Still, I have my paperwork and stuff saying that everything is official. I'm just waiting for that seal, certificate, and that's it's worth it. You just got to be patient and go through the process, but it's damn sure worth it, because, like I said, in the end,
the first time I tried to trademark Brian Stagg Repeat, it failed.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to, I tried to do it myself, because most of the things you can do yourself.
Yeah.
So, but it failed. So I ended up having to pay somebody to reinstate it and get it to go through. And when he did it, it went straight through, because these guys are professionals. They do it all the time. So sometimes you just want to pay for the door. Here, get this for me. So, but those trademarks, those copyrights, all that stuff is very important. These guys are paying people to make logos. They're making hundreds of pieces of clothing or other products. and
Mhm.
they don't even own the name. Like that's backwards.
Yeah.
Like you're producing all of this product and you're making it big, you're making it popular, and some people are real assholes and they'll be like, yo,
Mhm.
let me take a look and see if they own this. It's the same thing record labels do with artists. Like you wake up and you go look at a trademark, search a trademark for an artist name. You be like, how does somebody else own this guy's name?
And
Like,
now, and
it,
now they get paid off your name, and you
now they
doing.
get paid off your name. You know, they own your likeness. They own all this stuff. Like you when you coming up in any type of game, you gotta make sure you own what's yours before you push it forward for everybody else to take over. So that's one big thing I'm always on people, always on them. Like I like what you're doing. I like the name that you got. I like the design you're doing. Make sure you trademark it.
Mhm. And that's it. And that's the key. And what they have to remember too is you can still work in that arena using that name as long as your paperwork is in.
Yes.
That's the key, because a lot of people, because at first I was like, well, I can't do anything until I get the paperwork back.
Oh
And
no, once you
I
start,
spoke to
you're
the
good.
attorney, and the attorney was like, no, no, they said, no, you can still work. There's like, as long as your paperwork is in,
Mm-hmm.
you're good to go. They say, yes, there are certain things you can't do, but they said for the most part, you can,
Mm-hmm.
put the name out there and everything because your paperwork is in, it's dated and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
They
it's,
just tell you before you put that R behind your name, that
Mhm.
registered trademark. You can't do that yet, but you
Yeah,
can use the name. So as long as you put that, it's just like people make songs. All right, they used to mail the tape to themselves. So I
Mhm.
mailed it to myself on Monday, so I could put it out Friday because this is the proof that I had it before Friday.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Once that paperwork is in, you're good to go. But people don't even want. They're so lazy. They don't want to do that. They just want to sell product and keep it moving. Like I'm
And
not going to do this forever. But what if it pops? What if somebody wants to buy that name from you? You might not want to do it, but maybe another company wants to take it and do it. You can
and
make some money.
everything is online now. You can do it from your
Yeah.
laptop. So, it's not like back in the day where you got to fill out the paperwork, drop it in the mailbox, and wait.
Yeah.
Online, it still takes time, but it's a lot shorter process than
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
So what is your next move for for yourself, your family, and grind stack repeat?
Uh, right now I'm trying to use Grind Stack Repeat to give my family a home. That's my major goal right now. For 2021, it's a house. My kids deserve a backyard. I've been, I grind at work. I grind for our business. So I'm gonna make that happen for them. So that's the major goal right now. Also, my daughter, through seeing me do Grind Stack Repeat, has an idea of a business that she wants to do.
Okay.
So I look forward to being able to help her get her business off the ground through my funding from Grind Stack Repeat. For my profit, I'm
Mhm.
just going to shift it over here. Here you go. Get going. So she's an artist. So she paints, she draws, she does digital art, and
Okay.
she's 11, and this is like her passion, and she's really good at it. So it's like I tell her all the time, like keep going. Is a class you want to take? I'm paying for it. Go for it, because not only is she thinking to be an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
but she's also doing things that could help me as a clothing brand owner. She's doing art. At the
Mhm.
end of the day, who if I want to get a design, then I'm not going to go outside. I'm going to look to my daughter.
Exactly.
Let me pay you,
Mhm.
make this happen. So it's like it's all trying to tie everything together. So that's I'll gladly help her make her merchandise. If she
Mhm.
wants to make t-shirts with her designs on and everything, that's no problem. But I also know that she'll be there to help me. So I'm trying to make sure that that happens. So that's what I'm pushing for this year too. She's getting good. I can't. Sometimes I post the pictures because I'm like, I can't believe she did that.
Mhm.
Right now she's doing sketching of anatomy. So I
Oh,
got 11 years old. Like that's deep. Like she's learning how to do eyes and ears and hands and arms and how the body moves so that the picture doesn't look awkward.
mhm.
She was like, I didn't know that. Yeah, I said, yeah. Now you're learning things that you're gonna have to learn later on in life anyway with anatomy from drawing. So she's taking a liking to it and she's going for it. So I love it.
And that's the most important thing, is to feed our kids passions, because
Mhm.
like I said, it may not make sense to us in the
Yeah, at that
beginning.
moment, yeah.
Yeah, but there's nothing better than seeing your child just step outside of, of what we think they should be doing and chase and follow their own dreams. That's the best and most important thing to, that parents, especially fathers, I don't want to sound biased, but fathers with sons, is because we want to live our dreams through our kids and all of that. And like I said, my two oldest, want to push them to play basketball, all of this stuff. That's not their
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. I tried to push my son too. It just wasn't for him.
I'm
He was
telling
like,
them, nah,
you
nah,
tried. You
go
tried.
play, go play, go play. Nah, my oldest, gentle giant. And I remember one time because he's about 6'5".
Woo.
And this is when he was in high school. And so now, he's 20 now, but he was playing and I talked to him and I was like, you don't want to play? Because it came so natural to him. And his thing was, I don't want to hurt anybody. And it's just like, all right, you know what? I'd rather, I like knowing that now versus me
Yeah.
pushing you to go out there or me, pushing your mother say, hey, make him play. Nah, because then he gonna go out there and get hurt because that's not what he wants to do.
Mhm.
And then my middle son is, I tried to push him to play basketball because I coach basketball. And I told him, brought him to some of the games and he runs track and he had to find out the hard way. He was like, I'm fast, Dad, I'm fast. I'm like, all right. Brought him to one of the games, and I coach AAU. I put him out on the court. He said, "It's a lot faster than I thought." I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
track speed gonna help you on the court." I was like, two
Yeah.
totally different things. So you know what I mean, and then I had to feed that track thing because for me it was just always like, "Oh God, gotta go stand out here for this meet all day for you to run twice," and
Yeah.
but my youngest is the one that picked up on the sport, so he loves basketball. So,
Yeah.
but
At least you got one.
yeah,
I
I'll-
got my son is 21 and then I got four girls and
one of the girls might pick up the basketball. You never know.
I don't know. I think my middle daughter, I think she wants to do gymnastics. So I'm
Okay,
gonna end up having to do that. I don't mind that. Whatever makes them happy.
that's all it's about. That's all it's about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, um, so I'm gonna ask you a question about Patterson. So, what do you think what do you think that we can do, being that we're the quote unquote old heads now? What do you think that we can do to help this generation now? Because like I said, I haven't been back to Patterson in I want to say 2 years now. And I rarely came home before that. And I've been gone for 18 years now. But I still want to, and I still plan on once everything opens back up and I get the right venue or you talk to the right people, I want to come back and do something in Patterson, talk to the kids or whatever the case is. But what do
Yeah.
you think we can do to help this generation get out of this craziness that seems to be going on in the city?
To be honest, well, I think we have to start being honest with them. I think a lot of people feed them things.
Mhm.
They don't think it's possibly ever going to work. They need to see examples. You
Okay.
know, they hear and see examples in music all the time, and that's what they end up doing, the things that they see in music videos or hearing people saying in music. So that's the examples that they're living by. And they really don't have any hope. They don't think that they can do anything other than what they're doing. They don't think they can do anything other than sell heroin and shoot each other.
Mhm.
And that's totally not the truth. Like the talent that we have here in Patterson, not just musically and athletically, but just some of the minds that we have here
Yeah.
are crazy. And I tell guys all the time, if you can sell heroin, you can run a business, a real business.
Mhm.
Like you don't need to do that. And you don't want to go to jail to make 85 cents a day. Like
Yeah.
so it's like you got a mind that can do other things, and all you have to do is put your mind to it and do it.
Mhm.
Don't be worried about what everybody else is saying. Oh, I can't believe you're going to go get a job. We could just stand out here all day and laugh. No,
Yeah.
There's more to life, and we have to teach them that, because right now they don't think there's anything other than what they're doing. Like, if I'm not doing this, then what am I doing? I'm not gonna be having fun because all my other friends are doing this. Well, I know there's no jobs out here right now. That's one of the biggest issues. But we got to encourage them to do whatever it is. If uh, we get a $15 an hour minimum wage,
Mhm.
there's no way in the world you could tell me that you won't work anywhere. You should be willing to work anywhere. I'm thinking about getting a part-time job at McDonald's for $15. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta really imagine that. Like, 14, I think it's 14.42 an hour is $30,000 a year, right? 14.42, 80 hour pay period is $30,000 a year. So you're gonna be making over $30,000 a year to work at McDonald's, and you won't do that. You want me on the fries or the burgers, sir?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I remember being in jail and people telling me, like, I ain't working for no $10 an hour. I make my whole $80 for my 8 hour day. I make in one sale. Like, why would I go work? And then it'll be the same people that when we 40, looking forward to your 50s and 60s, and they ain't never paid $1 in Social Security.
Mm-hmm. Don't have to work credits or
I
work
have
nothing.
no idea that when it gets to that time, I hope you still want to sit on that crate and sell that same heroin, because you ain't gonna be getting nothing. You don't have no pension. You don't have nothing. So we have to start teaching them that these are the things that are important.
Mhm.
That way they understand that they don't have to beg girls to put cars in their names,
Yeah.
or get apartments. Establish yourself, get a job. Nothing wrong with having a job at all.
Because I look at some of, when you see some of the, the cases and stuff that's going on in Patterson, and you
Yeah.
see some of the numbers that some of these dudes getting in, it's just like, you 18 and they're giving you 30, 40 years, and it's just like, you getting out at 60.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do at 60?
Excuse me. Yeah. There was a kid from the town. It's like 2007. He came down to prison where I was, and I think he was 19. They gave him 22 years for an attempted murder. And I'll never forget it, because he said to me, it's only 22 years. I only have to do 85% of it, and I won't be 40 when I get home. So to him, it was like a badge of honor. Like, yeah, I did it, and I'll still have a life to live when I get out. Like, man, 22 years is like, you just missed an entire, that's most of us that used to think we was gonna make it to 21. You need to worry about doing 22 in prison. Like, I'll still be young when I get out. Like, nah, that's the way they think. Like, I'm still be young, and when I get out there, people like, oh man, I remember you did that crazy stuff, and they think it's gonna be a badge of honor. But now them people gonna be 47 years old. They ain't gonna want to have nothing to do with you at all.
And like I said, and I don't think they think about the other side of it too, is you do that, them 20, you do 85%. So you're looking at what, 18, 19 years, something like that. So you do the time, you get home, and no guarantee all the people you used to kick it with, they either, God forbid, they're either gonna be dead or in jail too.
Yeah.
But then you coming home, and this generation, they're not gonna remember you. They ain't gonna give a shit about you. They're gonna push you to the side, and you're just gonna be that old head
Yep.
in the way. And then, God forbid, then one of them gonna look at you the same way you used to look at the old heads and be like, this old dude getting in the way. He, messing this up, and then they're gonna want to take you out.
Yeah. I tell people that all the time that's come home from prison. It's not what it was when you left.
Yeah.
These young dudes don't respect nothing. It's like that's their way of life. Like, I don't you that's what you used to be. So so now we talk about today. So, and if they ain't trying to fight you, we used to be a town of fighters, and we used to be able to go from place to place and fight each other and be friends after.
Mm-hmm.
You can walk to 17th Ave and fight me, and tomorrow I might see you on 31st and be like, "What's up?"
Yeah.
like it's over. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't do that now. You might fight somebody, and then you hear gunshots the next day, just because they didn't like the outcome of what happened. So it's like pride is so crazy with these young kids. It's like, bro, dust yourself off. Somebody laughed at you because you lost. Okay, oh well, but you live.
Mm-hmm.
But you would rather go to jail for 25 years to prove that you wasn't no punk. Like you wasn't a punk when you fought him. You was fighting. like, so that's the thing that we need to talk to these kids about. We need to start younger than the teenage years because these kids are watching these 17, 18, 19-year-olds driving around and Hellcats and everything else. And, oh, he's a shooter and I want to be a shooter too. We got to stop that mentality with our children because some of these kids is I hate to say it, but they're lost.
Yeah.
So we need to stop our kids from following the lost ones because if not, they'll be the next shooters. And then what? It just be a never-ending cycle. And in my opinion, you don't get shooting all over Patterson. You randomly get it in certain neighborhoods that you've never heard before. You'd be like, what's going on? That might be a domestic violence or something. That's not a street thing.
Yeah.
So you already know where the shootings are going to occur. You know it's going to occur in the Fourth Ward, and you know it's going to occur down the hill. It's not going to occur in Eastside Park or the Manor section. It's not going to occur in Hillcrest or in Total Ave section. So you know for a fact that this is the target place. Like we don't have to get any numbers or data to tell us where we should be talking to these kids because we already know where it happens, and this is where it's going to continue to happen. So this is what we got to do. We got to set up something to help these kids, and it's not to leave the other ones out, but it's to concentrate on where these kids are getting killed and where the next ones are becoming the shooters. So like that's my opinion. Like we need to concentrate on that first and fourth ward because if not, it's not going to stop. They come up the hill and shoot. They go back down the hill and shoot. They go up the hill and shoot. They go down the hill and shoot. That's what they do.
So it's just never, like you said, never-ending cycle, and it's just
never-ending, bro.
And it's crazy. And I say, and I'm on the outside looking in, but like I said, I remember what it was like growing up. I left Patterson at 22. Yeah, I was 22, 23 when I left Patterson. But I remember how it was. And to me, like to hear like how the whole, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but like how the whole gang culture is just like so prevalent in the city. It's just like, damn, I remember walking from 32nd to Fifth Ave or walking from 32nd down the hill to the towers or downtown Patterson. And, it wasn't no issue. Yeah, you might have had somebody you had an issue with, but you never.
That was personal.
Yeah, it was never, wasn't no gang stuff. And it wasn't like, if I go downtown Patterson to Foot Locker, I don't know if I'm gonna make it back home and all it. It wasn't all of that craziness. And like you said, I 100% agree with you. And I hope when the time is over, so when somebody that has some influence in the city or whatever, you or anybody else that hears or sees this, I want to come back to Patterson. I want to talk to the kids. I don't, and please, I want people to take it out of their head of, oh, well, what has he been through? Have I been through what you've been through? No. You know what I mean? But I still have a voice or, something to share with the kids to help them out.
The thing is, people got to understand is you don't have to have gone through something to care. And that's a big thing. Like, there's so many people that don't care right now. It's not happening in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not happening in my neighborhood, but they're not concerned about the future. That's what I'm concerned about. Yeah. Because I have a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, and an 11-year-old that still go to school in Patterson. They're going to grow up here in Patterson. And I don't want to feel like I can't allow my kids to go outside.
Yeah.
So it's like, if it takes me to step up and talk to that generation to let them know that this ain't the way, then that's what I have to do, because somebody has to teach them that everything that they're seeing isn't true.
Yeah.
The guy that you see in that Hellcat, he gets locked up tomorrow. That car goes away. He's not coming home to it.
Nope.
You have to let them know the reality of the situation, because they see these guys go to jail, come home, hustle a little bit and get some things back, go back to jail, come back, hustle things up again. Like, that's not a cycle you want to live.
No.
You want to go home and kick your feet up at night. You want to have your own man cave. These are the things. You don't want to have to live with a female your whole life and worry about she gonna kick you out tomorrow. It's like, you out here selling drugs, and half the time you don't own nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing's in your name. You don't have a bank account. You don't pay no taxes. You're not doing nothing. really you don't exist.
Mhm.
So it's like somebody has to tell these kids this, like, yo, yeah, you might have a little money in your pocket, but you don't exist. To the government, you don't exist. You don't pay them no money.
Nope.
You don't pay Social Security. You don't pay taxes. You don't. If you wanted to go get an apartment and run a credit check, you won't have it. You want to buy a car, you're not going to pay no cash for no Benz. It's an automatic red flag.
Mhm.
That's one where you got that money from. So you got to get somebody with a job to do it, and that's their car. It's in their name. Something happened to you, that's their car. It's not yours. You know, so we have to start teaching them that because they don't understand that. They just know what they see.
Mhm.
So I think there's a bunch of us that can make it happen. True. I love True.
Mhm.
Uh, Black Lives Matter in Patterson is great. They do great things. Um, just recently, they put a community fridge out. And
Okay.
you see these things in other towns, but you never see them in Patterson. And now you're starting to see these groups come together and do things like that. And that's very big when you see when kids start to see these people taking care of their own people.
Mhm.
That's big because most time they're like, nobody cares about me anyway. You know, they start seeing people that care come out. Oh, this fridge is gonna be right here. If you ain't got enough food in the house and your parents can't afford something and they having a hard time, go to the fridge and get some. That's big. You know, that changes people's mindsets. And that's what we got to do. Anybody that has any type of power or the ability to get out and do something, if we all do it together, we can change it.
Yeah, get it back to where it needs to be because like you
Mhm.
said, most of these dudes, they not gonna admit it or nothing. They just need a hug. They just need somebody to
Yeah, yeah.
love my brother, care about you. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, of course, they're gonna keep up the hard exterior. No, 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 I'm good. I don't need X, Y, and Z. No, you want somebody to check on you because if you
Yeah.
check on them once, then if you go a week or two and you don't check on them, then they're gonna be mad at you. Well, you ain't call back, you ain't check up on me the next day. Like you said, you ain't need it.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So we
We
just got,
all we all we all need it.
yeah,
You know,
you know what I mean?
I
So
got
like
it
I said,
there.
hopefully, I'm gonna make it happen. Keep in contact with you, True,
Mhm.
T, whoever I need to keep it. 40, keep in touch
Yeah.
with everybody, and like I said, just get back home and just let them know that's not the only way to do it. I'll say this before we wrap up. I was mentioning it like what I started to do down here before the pandemic hit was when I started my production company. It was to show the young men in my church, and then I wanted to branch out outside of the church to show them that there's so many other things you could do. Because like I said, you're coming from Patterson. Nobody ever fed me the whole thing of, oh, you like to write? You should go to Rosa Parks. Because like I said, if I knew I had the talent and it was fed when I was going into high school, I
Mhm.
probably would have went to Rosa Parks instead of PC and Eastside.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so I'm showing them now. I got a couple of kids from my church, and I got my son, and I told him, I said, let me show y'all what goes on behind the scenes when you're doing a play. So I showed them the lighting, the boom mics, the setting up the stage, blocking all of this other stuff. And they was like, oh man, we ain't think all of that went into, doing the stage play. I said, yeah, it's not just all of the, the glitz and glamour. And I tell them, I'm very honest with them. I said, if you're looking to make money, I said in the music business and in this, the play world, I said, you make more money behind the scenes than you do out in the front. I said, don't let them lie to you. You see all these rappers with all the jewelry, all this other stuff.
Mhm.
I said, it's the executives, it's the producers, it's the person making the beat. Those are the
Mhm.
people that make the majority of the money.
Yep. Those residuals are everything.
Yeah, so and that's what, like you said, that's just the other things we need to teach these kids. It's just like, you could rap, you got a good flow, whatever the case is, but you ever thought about, trying to produce making a beat, producing your own stuff and doing all that type of stuff. It's just getting them to see outside of, that small box that they see every day.
Mhm.
You know? Well, I'll say all that. So where can the people, find you at?
Uh, my personal Instagram is CEO underscore MUS, and the business IG is Grind Stack Repeat. Um, Facebook, I'm Michael Jackson or Michael G Jackson. There's a couple up there, but Grind Stack Repeat is also on Facebook as Grind Stack Repeat. Uh, and that's where you can find me. Most people know if they're here in Patterson, they know they can They can call call TPW anytime to find me. Uh, but I enjoyed this, man. I think this is a great thing that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I look forward to seeing more. And when you get here, I'd be more than glad to speak with the kids with you, man. I think that's something we all need to pull together and do. Nothing that one person, one person can make a difference in a lot, but we need a lot of help too around here. So the more people that join, the better. So I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, so I definitely keep you in tune to what's going on. Like I said, so at least that way, like I said, whenever all of these things open back up, and I'm able to make it to Patterson and move around, freely in terms of the pandemic, not the streets. You know what I mean? I'll definitely be up there. But no, I appreciate you coming on and having us sit down with me and taking time out your work schedule and everything.
Yeah, no problem.
So
Snow
yeah,
should be coming shortly.
but yes, well, I look forward to having you on again, and probably, I think what I'm gonna try to do too, is probably holla at True T 40, a couple other people, just have like a group, interview, and we could just chop it up about Patterson, see, brainstorm together in the interview, see what we could do to help these kids out.
Yep,
But
and if you want, I told you I don't really like to be political, but unfortunately, I'm forced to be. Uh, any council people, well, specifically, we want to have the council people from the first and the fourth ward.
okay.
And that shouldn't be a hard thing to do. So whenever you're ready, let me know. I'll reach out to them, and get them on too, so they can hear these ideas, and nobody can have any excuses and say nobody's trying to help.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
We definitely got to hold them accountable. Definitely.
Definitely. So people of Patterson, just because I'm not there don't mean I don't still care about you and love you. Still my city, no matter what.
Exactly.
I appreciate you, and I look forward to having you on again, and I'll stay in touch so we could get that thing set up.
All right, sounds great, man.
Appreciate your time again.
No problem, man. I enjoy being here.
All right, thank you.
I have it.